I'm Brian Shelton, and you're listening to Harper Talks, a co-production of Harper College Alumni Relations and Harper Radio. Today on Harper Talks, I'm excited to speak with Dana Romero. She is a graduate of Harper College and a clinical mental health counselor, and is our new outstanding recent alumni. She joined me in the studios of WHCM in the A building on campus. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Fantastic. Good to see you. And we are shooting this on the post of the hottest day of the year. So I hope that you're doing okay and keeping cool today. So
yes, we are. I brought 2 drinks just in case.
2 drinks just in case. All right. So thanks for being here. I appreciate that. Tell me, you grew up in this area. What was behind your decision to go to Harper College?
Yeah, I grew up in Elk Grove Village, and from there, I wasn't the greatest in high school. Wasn't sure really where that was going to go, and so I knew Harper was close. I knew it was affordable, and I knew they had a variety of courses that are what I wanted to do, right. And so I thought this could be my fresh start. Okay.
What did you think you wanted to do when you were in high school and coming to Harper?
Yeah, I knew I liked psychology. And then I wanted kind of a criminal justice, criminology area, and I couldn't decide. So I took classes for both, loved both, but knew I definitely want to be a therapist. So I started that more emphasis in psychology area.
Okay, fantastic. So tell me about your time while you were here at Harper College. I know you were heavily involved in the honors program. What did you do while you were here besides take classes, right? So
yeah, honors was great. Highly recommend it, especially for those kind of like myself where high school wasn't really working. And so the honors program offered smaller classes, really great professors. The material is what like a need to know basis and was more applicable. And I thrive in that area.
Okay.
I also worked at Center for New Students. So I did orientations, did different tours, and then also kind of bounced around to different clubs just to see who was there, what it was about. It was a really great time.
That's fantastic. Tell me in the honors program why those small classes are important.
Oh, yeah. So I feel like when you go from high school, you're maybe in a class of 20 to 30 people.
Right.
You go off to college and your lecture halls might be 50 to 100 people. That's a lot of people to go from high school to college.
Right.
And so for me, it was you got personalized help. You had more discussions versus like homework or big assignments. You really got to talk to each other and learn each other's perspectives. And doing so helped me kind of learn different ways of looking at problems, different ways of solving problems, and just new information that I would not have learned by not talking to other people in class.
Yeah, so you got to actually work with individual people and have conversation and discussion. And that's fun. That's great.
Very, very helpful.
Yeah, that's very helpful. You, through that and other stuff, you wound up doing the Costa Rica Study Abroad program at Harper. What was that like? That's got to have been really cool. I've never been to Costa Rica. Tell me, should I go? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes and yes.
Yeah. Yes and yes.
It was amazing. Again, only was able to do that through the honors program. It was my very last semester, and I thought, we're almost done. Let's just, take the classes that we need. And I believe there was a professor that mentioned to me, hey, have you ever thought about studying outside the country? We have an honors chemistry class. And so I was like, oh, chemistry, no.
Right.
And they were like, no, remember, small classes, personalized help, they're here for you. So I took a chance on it. We did 8 weeks in the classroom, and then the rest of our time was spent in the rainforests of Costa Rica.
Oh, wow. Absolutely
amazing. I've learned more during that class than I probably could have, just solely in the classroom.
Well, let me take a step back. Had you traveled outside the country before you went to Costa Rica?
I have not. It was my very first time out the country. Really nervous at first. But again, having that group of people that it's a small group. We spent the last 8 weeks together. You built those connections with each other. So it felt like you had a mini family with you on your whole trip.
I think there are a lot of people who come to college and have probably not traveled outside of the country. I mean, we have a very diverse population here at Harper College, but there's still a lot of people who have not traveled outside of the country. What are the benefits of doing that? What do you think?
Yeah, I think especially from someone who stayed very close to home her whole life. One gives you that sense of what independence is, and that you can't also just drive back home. So it really forces you, to kind of sit in the uncomfortableness and then how to ask for help of, hey, I'm feeling kind of homesick, or how do I do this thing, or how do I communicate with someone that might also speak a different language than me? Right. And so in doing so, day after day, you got way more comfortable. People felt like they're more at home. And then by the end, you did not want to leave.
Yeah. You said something about being uncomfortable in a different place. How does being uncomfortable help you?
Yeah, I think when you're uncomfortable, that's a sign to remain there until it becomes less uncomfortable. And I think that can go for conversations, that can go for topics, that can go for places. It's only uncomfortable because you haven't sat there long enough or you haven't explored it enough.
Yeah.
But I think once you see what's past the fog or the darkness, and you realize there's another opportunity there for you.
Yeah. I had an opportunity in January of this year with the Office of International Education to travel to India. And we were there for 2 weeks traveling around different parts of the country. And, you know, at first, I mean, I'm a traveled person, but at first it was kind of uncomfortable, right? This is a big country. It's a different culture. It's different languages. It's different languages everywhere that you go as well, right? And so you are no longer comfortable, right? And so you have to like, I think you have to like become one with it. You have to accept that you are no longer the dominant species or whatever in your environment, and you have to, you know, accept that and then just start to flow with it. And I think once you start to flow when you're in a different place, you really start to learn the different place, and it changes the way that you feel and the way that you, maybe even the way that you think, right? Did Costa Rica change the way you think? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely did. I think there were things that I was used to here that you either don't do when you're there, or it's just a different even routine with things. And so, you know, meeting people for breakfast every morning, we would all have breakfast together.
Right.
And just knowing like, okay, you don't grab a plate and you sit down. Everyone is in line. Then we all sit down and have a discussion in the morning. We all share appreciation for each other. It was every meal. You shared an appreciation for one other person at the table.
Nice.
And then you go with your day, but everybody is collectively working throughout the day together. And so I think back here in the States, it's a very individualized type of like routine or way of living. But in Costa Rica, it's very collective. So you do everything as a group. You do everything together and for each other.
Yeah. So you become a cohesive unit almost. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know from reading some information about you that you received a scholarship to go on that trip to Costa Rica.
I did.
Can you tell me about what is that scholarship, and can I get it too? What is that scholarship and what that meant for you?
Yeah, so I was one of the students who didn't have money readily available, didn't have financial aid that was really going to cover anything, which is why I wasn't going to go to Costa Rica. And Professor Tamajian, she's part of the honors program, she let me know that there's a whole page on the website for scholarships and for financial help for those that don't have it. So I applied, and then I heard back, and they were like, hey, there's this very generous family, Nancy and John Castle. I don't know if you know them. They are fantastic. And they put in to a scholarship fund to help me go to Costa Rica. And fun fact, I was actually able to reconnect with them not long ago and be able to sit down with them, kind of talk about how life's been, and kind of get to know them as well.
That's fantastic. So you have a relationship with the folks who made it possible for you to go.
Yes, they helped me. I think that was 2019, and we just seen each other maybe earlier this year or last year.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize what that donor support at the foundation level and the scholarship level really means, because it does really help individual students. It's not about funding the college, right? It's about funding individual students to get fantastic educational experiences.
Absolutely.
I had read that the reason that they started the scholarship is because she didn't travel until she was much older in life or what have you, right?
Yes.
And realized that the opportunity to travel was so important for young people. So that's really cool.
Yeah, she mentioned that when we met each other, that she knew the opportunities it gives people and how much you can learn and what it does for just like your own personal development. And she's like, why not help other people have those experiences? So I'm very appreciative of them, and I know all the other students they've helped and will help are hopefully going to feel the same way about it that I do. Yeah.
What a great opportunity. I did not have those opportunities when I was in college, so I'm so happy for you that you had it and our other students who have had it. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So your career path kind of means a lot of school, right? So you're at Harper, you did a bachelor's degree, you did a master's degree, you're continuing a professional development and other education. How did Harper prepare you for that?
Yeah, I think Harper prepared me originally with starting that strong foundation of, okay, let's look at what education is, what it can look like, found out how to make a routine, study tips, and how to actually focus in on classes and see what's important, what do I need to know, and how I apply it. I think if it wasn't for going to Harper first, the transition from high school to just a 4-year would have been really tough. I've had friends that came back to Harper when I was still an orientation leader who went to 4 years, came back, and they were like, oh my gosh, that was a lot.
Right.
And so they're restarting their Harper journey, and they're like, now I feel more prepared to go back.
I see that a lot. I see a lot of students who they show up spring semester.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, I went to X university, last semester and it didn't work out. And I'm like, yeah, Harper's a good place for you to start. Yeah.
It's a great place to start.
Yeah, great place to get started and get prepared. So tell me what you do in your career. Like, what's your day like? Because I think when we read a title, we don't necessarily know what that means. So what's your title and what's your day like?
Yeah. So right now I'm a staff therapist in private practice at Guada Psychological Services. They're actually based in Schaumburg, so pretty close. And so with them, I see individual clients or families and helping them with any behavioral or mental concerns that they're having. So I've worked with as young as probably 5 years old. I work all the way up until end of lifespan. And through them, I see people for about an hour a day per week. And we kind of go over things that are either bothering them, things they want to work on. It could be just worldwide things that they feel impacted by. And then we find a way to kind of work together and help soothe some of those symptoms and help them feel like they can still maintain their day-to-day lives.
Yeah. What's the best part about that for you personally?
A lot. I think one of my favorites is seeing a client who starts off very hopeless, does not want to come see you, reasonably so. There's a lot going on. And then by a few more sessions, they're showing up early, or they're excited to tell you progress they made, and they ask when they can come back. Because to me, that shows that they've put in the work, they're seeing the progress, and they want to keep getting better. That's
fantastic. Is there a negative side to that, though? Like, do you sometimes go home and feel that you're like burdened by what has been said to you or kind of unloaded on you in your work?
Yeah, I think the part that people don't realize is there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And for the clinician, when we go home, I know some people joke of like, oh, I wish I could just talk to people all day.
Right.
I wish it was that easy. I think one of the negatives for me, or I guess one of the harder parts, is when they leave and you're just hoping for the best for them and knowing that you can't go home with them and make sure everything's okay. You can't keep checking in. You have to wait until you see them again. And so it's really hard when they leave from a tough session and you're just hoping that you'll see them the next week.
Right. And you're hoping that everything is okay in between that time. Yeah. That's got to be tough.
Yeah. It's really tough. And you have to know that you've given them as many tools possible and that your session was able to end on a good enough note that they can go by and come back in the next week and pick up where you left off. But it still sits in the back of our head. We're still people at the end of the day. And so we care about them. They're not just clients. They're still people in our lives, and we want to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah. What might you say to someone who maybe is exploring the idea of getting some mental health counseling, but is reluctant to do so for one reason or another? What might you say to them?
Yeah, I would say taking this lightly. Almost like you're getting to know friends. You know, the first person you meet and the first person you work with may not be best for you. And it's okay to keep trying. I know it can get discouraging when you're like, oh my gosh, I tried 3 therapists. This just isn't it. And I want them to know a lot of times it's not you, it's just the relationship isn't there for you two.
Right.
And I'm hoping that there is somebody out there for them. And that when they find that person, they're going to see what a difference it makes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. On a completely different note, celebratory note, you were recently named a Harper College Recent Outstanding Alumni.
Yeah.
Yeah? What is that? What does that mean to you? That's exciting. You can't see her because this is a podcast. It's an audio podcast, but she has a giant smile on her face. So, yeah.
Yeah. One was in shock. I remember getting the phone call and I'm like, Harper's calling me. What is that about? It's been years.
Who called you?
I believe it was the current president.
Oh, Dr. Proctor. Okay.
Yeah. And she's like, is this Dana? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, congratulations. Like, we are honoring you as the honoree this year. And I remember just thinking, like, there's no way. For me, it was just, you know, I loved my time here. I feel like I put my all into Harper and its community. And so for them to notice that and also be like, we want to pour back into you, it's like an unreal feeling.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really neat. What a neat thing. And so there's a ceremony for that, and you'll be recognized for that. And what a great opportunity. Do you speak at that event? I can't remember if the person who does the gets the award if they speak at the event.
I do.
Yeah.
There's once you receive your award, they ask if you could share a few words. And I'm just hoping I don't stand up there and just go speechless.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. If you need some help, I teach speech.
There we go. We'll talk.
So we'll talk. Okay. I'm really excited for you. I think that's a really great honor to have that, to be recognized so young in your career for your contributions. What a great honor for you.
Yeah,
that's great.
Thank you. I think a big part of that too is the imposter syndrome.
Sure.
Of, oh my gosh, I'm so young, and I looked back at previous years' honorees, and I remember thinking like, wow, these people did such amazing things, and whoa, they were doing this now. And so it felt kind of weird to be like, do I measure up in that way? And all my friends or family are like, you've also done very great for yourself. Right. Like you should, hold yourself to that standard and not feel that imposter syndrome still. You've
done great things, and there's a phrase, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
So stay away from that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I ask everybody who comes on the Harper Talk show, it's almost always my last question for the guest. What advice do you have for current Harper students? If you sit in a room with current Harper students, what would you tell them? And it could be about anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of them, I know it's cliche, but definitely get involved. Doesn't have to be in everything, but find your niche or find something that also may just feel uncomfortable and just show up. I think that's a major thing. If you're not going to fully participate or you're not sure what to do, step number one is just showing up. And from there, I think so many doors open just by you physically being in the room or you even joining virtually. And then also just use it as your fresh start.
Yeah.
If high school wasn't for you, if a different college and you came back wasn't for you, now's your time to be who you want to be, how you want to be.
Fantastic. That's fantastic advice. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Dana Romero is a staff therapist in private practice and a proud Harper College graduate and an outstanding recent alumni. If you're enjoying Harper Talks, please subscribe. And while you're at it, rate and review us so that others might find us. Harper Talks is a co-production of Harper College Alumni Relations and Harper Radio. Our show is produced by Shannon Hines. This episode is edited by Kobe Pozo. Our online content producer is Matt Byrne. Our theme music was created by Aiden Cashman. I'm Brian Shelton. Thanks for listening.